How do you stop a 6'1" lineman who benches 500 pounds and hunts quarterbacks like it's personal? Truth is, you don't. You just pray he gets tired. This is the story of Aaron Donald, the undersized kid from Pittsburgh who became the most feared monster the NFL has seen in a long time. He wasn't supposed to dominate. He wasn't supposed to be the best. But try telling that to the 111 quarterbacks he put in the dirt, or the offensive lines that spent entire weeks scheming for him, only to get steamrolled anyway. And if you think that was just brute strength, nah, it was technique, obsession, madness. By the end of this video, you'll understand why nobody could stop number 99, and why the NFL may never see anything like him again. How does a guy this good get overlooked, even after dominating every level of football? Aaron Donald didn't look like your typical NFL nightmare. At 6'1", he was considered too short for the position, too light, not NFL ready. Most scouts saw a decent prospect, not a generational force. But while the world doubted him, Aaron was down in his dad's basement at 4:30 in the morning, lifting, grinding, building himself into something different. Aaron turned himself from a lazy kid into a machine. In high school, he dominated. At Pitt, he exploded. By his senior year, Donald was an absolute menace. 28.5 tackles for loss, 11 sacks, and 66 total tackles for loss. Not to mention the 4 National Defensive Awards in one season. That kind of stat line should have made him a top 5 lock. But again, the doubts. Then came the NFL Combine, and that's where everything changed. Donald ran a 4.68 40-yard dash at 285 pounds. For comparison, that's faster than some tight ends. He also bench pressed 225 pounds 35 times. And just like that, boom! He went from being too short to unbelievable. Every GM who passed on him suddenly had regrets because Aaron Donald wasn't a prospect anymore. He was a problem. Now, what happens when the league's most underrated rookie finally puts on a helmet? In 2014, the Rams took Aaron Donald with the 13th overall pick. Not top 5. Not even top 10. And that, as we'd all find out, was a mistake for the 12 other teams. Because the moment he stepped on an NFL field, it was chaos. In his first season, he won the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. He wasn't just good, he was already dominant. And this wasn't off the edge like a flashy defensive end. He was doing it from the interior, out of the trenches, where double teams are the norm. The way he'd explode off the snap like a missile, get under your pads, and dismantle blocks before they even set is almost unbelievable. That freakish blend of speed, power, and leverage, that's his secret weapon. It didn't take long before coaches stopped asking, "Who is this guy?" and started asking, "How do we stop him?" Spoiler alert, they couldn't. What do you even do when your best blocker gets embarrassed by a 6'1" defensive tackle? Aaron Donald didn't just live up to the hype, he crushed it. From 2015 to 2021, he earned 7 straight first-team All-Pro selections, made the Pro Bowl every single year, and won Defensive Player of the Year 3 times, 2017, 2018, and 2020. Let that sink in. Only Lawrence Taylor and J.J. Watt have ever pulled that off. And it wasn't just awards. Donald racked up 20.5 sacks in 2018, an NFL record for a defensive tackle. He was getting to quarterbacks at a rate that edge rushers dream about, from the inside. That's like winning a drag race in a dump truck. Every snap for Aaron felt like a mismatch. Double teams, he blew through them. Triple teams, he found the gap. Coaches started redesigning entire protection schemes just to slow him down. And it still didn't matter. His work ethic? Legendary. First in the gym, last out. Obsessive with technique. Always sharpening his hands, his footwork, his leverage. Teammates called him Cyborg. Fans call him the short man who changed the franchise forever. If you ever watched him live, you'd know that game plans literally revolved around one guy. The goal was simple: survive Donald. But most teams didn't, because he wasn't just dominating his position, he was breaking it. Aaron Donald might not make it to your top 3 of the greatest NFL players ever, but just imagine if your team's whole season comes down to one play, who you'd trust. If you're a Rams fan, you'd never forget what the GOAT pulled off at Super Bowl 56 versus the Bengals. That's how you win a championship. Pulling that off late in the fourth quarter when everything's on the line, that's the stuff of legends. And the Rams are so lucky they got one in their ranks. If anything, for the incredible career he's had, the sacrifices, the dedication, and the consistency, Donald deserved to be a Super Bowl champion. And he didn't just win it, he sealed it with his bare hands. That play became the defining image of his career. That was Aaron Donald. Explosive, relentless, unblockable. A man built for the moment. And fittingly, right before the game, his wife texted him, "You're built for this." She was right. Every football fan loves to argue about why their favorite is the best. But how do you measure dominance? Is it stats, number of rings, or contract? It doesn't matter the criteria. Aaron Donald wins every single time. Try writing the biggest defensive contract in NFL history twice. In 2018, the Rams locked Donald in with a $135 million deal. At the time, the highest paid contract ever for a non-quarterback. He earned every penny. Then, in 2022, fresh off that Super Bowl win, he restructured his deal and landed another $60+ million guaranteed, without even extending the years. You know what that meant? Pay me more or I walk. The Rams paid. And why wouldn't they? He was still dominating, still leading, still drawing triple teams in his 30s. But in 2024, Donald walked away. Quiet. No farewell tour, no drama, just done. 10 seasons, 111 sacks, 3 Defensive Player of the Years, 10 Pro Bowls, 1 ring. He didn't need to keep chasing greatness. He became it. And when he walked off that field for the last time, he didn't leave room for debate. Aaron Donald retired as the most dominant defensive player of his generation. Okay, but what actually made Aaron Donald so unstoppable? You have to know by now that it wasn't just brute force. Donald had mastered the entire craft of defensive line play. You could say he watched a lot of LT. At 6'1", he used his height as an advantage. Always the low man, always winning a pad battle. His first step was faster than most linebackers. Blink, and he was already in your backfield. Donald also used his hands like a martial artist. Swipes, chops, clubs, counters, all fluid, all lethal. He trained like a man possessed, benching 500 pounds, sprinting hills, and refining footwork daily. But the biggest skill he mastered? His mindset. Aaron Donald was obsessed with being the best. Every snap mattered. Every rep was war. And while most players talked about legacy, Donald lived it. Coaches game planned entire weeks around him. Quarterbacks called him out pre-snap with fear in their voice. Fans wore his jersey with pride, even when he broke their hearts. Because Aaron Donald didn't just play defense, he redefined it in his own way. The most intriguing part of his story is that he wasn't supposed to make it. Too short, too small, not built for the trenches. Those were the excuses. And yet, for 10 years, nobody could stop him. Not double teams, not triple teams, not the biggest moments in the biggest games. He stacked awards like trading cards, ended a Super Bowl with one hand, and walked away on his own terms as the most feared force of his era. Aaron Donald wasn't just dominant. He was the monster you never figured out until he was already gone.